Hello and welcome to i-nastava. Today's lesson is for English class for the fourth year, and the topic is the CV and cover letter. My name is Stephanie Kate Lukač, and I'll be your teacher for the day. For today's class, you're going to observe the format and language in both the CV and cover letter, and you're also going to write your own CV and cover letter. You will need a notebook, a pen or a pencil, and some kind of device with internet connection. Before we start, there are two things I'd like you to think about. First of all, what do you know about writing a CV or a cover letter? Take a second to write down some notes. Once you finish with that, answer the question, what would you like to know about writing a CV or cover letter? We'll go through that a little bit later on. We'll start with the CV and what it is. It's also called a resume, especially in North America. It's basically a summary of you, where you went or are going to school, what abilities or skills you have, any talents or positive qualities, basically you in your best light, only in short form. It shouldn't be longer than 2 pages because if you're sending your CV to a large company, they don't have the time or the patience to read through multiple pages for each person who's looking for employment. It must be direct and concise, tied into the length. In other words, keep it relatively short and sweet. If you philosophize too much, you're going to lose their attention. For the most part, most individuals write their CV in bullets, although that's not a must. Choose what feels right for you. Here we've got the most important information that is written on a CV. Your personal information, your profile, which includes personal statement or statements, your achievements, skills, and career goals that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. Education and work experience, which go in what is called reverse chronological order. You start with the most recent or ongoing information and you go down to the oldest. Your skills, achievements, and interests are also listed in your CV. I know it's difficult to put everything about yourself onto 1 or 2 pieces of paper, but opt for your best qualities and accomplishments. What makes you stand out from the crowd? Here we've got a list of mistakes to avoid when writing a CV. First and foremost, you want to pay attention to font and font size. You don't want to go too large, nor do you want to go too small so that it can't be read. Also, when it comes to font, go with something a little bit more mature. You can't go wrong with Times New Roman, for example, the standard. If you go with something like Comic Sans, for example, or the script, kind of italic-y, you look childish and immature, and you really don't want that when you're looking for a job. When it comes to section headings, keep them larger and bold so they stand out, so that it kind of draws the eye. They know what they're reading in the next part. You don't want full sentences or long bullets, although I have to say it does depend on the person and their age or accomplishments. You guys are still young, so you're going to have shorter bullets. You don't have a lot of experience. You're at the beginning of your lives, so you do want to keep kind of shorter bullets. The older the person is, the more experience they have, and they need to put that forward. When it comes to colors and shading, again, when I was younger, they kind of looked for that, like, oh, it makes you stand out. Nowadays, kind of like the font, it makes you look childish or immature. With the second to last point, I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not lie or exaggerate on your CV. They will check you or test you to see if you're lying, if you're not telling the truth, or if you're exaggerating. For example, I know maybe 3 words in German. I'm not going to put that I'm fluent because they might ask me something in German. I'm just going to sit there and look at them. And then right on the spot, you can guarantee that you're not going to get hired. With the last one, It might seem unimportant, but please check everything over and get somebody else to check over, somebody you trust and know is either fluent in English, for example, if it's about English, or someone who is great in Croatian when you're writing in Croatian, that they know the grammar and the spelling. Sometimes the smallest mistake escapes from anyone, including us, right in front of our eyes. So it does happen to all of us, even English teachers. So ask somebody you trust to look over. It doesn't do much harm. It only takes like maybe a few minutes and it can help. Here I wanted to show you the difference between some CVs. Someone who has a lot of experience compared to a teenager's. So the adult CV is on the left with 2 pages, the left in the center. Here she's highlighting her wealth of experience. There is no personal statement, but back in the day nobody put those on. That's more relatively recent. Also, she's missing languages and detailed computer skills. However, if she went into more detail, she would have gone on to at least 3 pages, which is way too much. Because she's trying to gain employment with the government, she wants to emphasize her work there in the past. Notice how each section is separated. Can you spot the small error? Well, computer skills isn't underlined as in the first two. As you see, education and employment history are underlined. She forgot the computer skills. That's why it's better to check or get somebody to check for you. The CV on the right comes from a teenager. Because she has no actual work experience, she put more effort into her personal statement, how you and your company will benefit, if you can take a look, and her accomplishments and interests. My advice is to make it even better with just a few tweaks. Add more prominent subjects with excellent grades under her education of high school, and a little bit more detail. For example, with the babysitting course, which babysitting course are we talking about? Is there any certification at the end of this course? When it comes to spending time with friends, where she writes down, you can see, enjoy spending time with friends, I would suggest being more specific or choosing something else that's more appealing in the sense of something a little bit better that could show some kind of seriousness or be a little bit at least more specific, because spending time with friends is vague. It can be anything. It could be going out on the weekends with your friends, but it could also be sitting around and discussing books like a book club. So be a little bit more specific in some of the things that you write down. Here we have an article regarding good and bad CVs with examples. It goes through each part step by step. So please pause the video, click on the link, and read through. It really does have a lot of great advice. Once you're finished that, click please on the second link, which is an assignment. You're going to choose which parts of these CVs are good. You have different parts listed there. If they're good, you write in G in the little box. And which ones are bad, you write in B. When you click on the second link, you need to write in your name in order to access this assignment. First name is fine. You don't need to write your full name. And when you finish, take a picture or a screenshot of your results and send them to your teacher. Please pause the video in order to read through and finish the assignment. I hope the assignment wasn't too difficult for you. Now we're on to the cover letter. What is a cover letter? It's a letter when you're applying for a specific job application. It's sent together with your CV, but you don't want to duplicate all the information from your CV, and it should be shorter, no more than 1 page. Your cover letter is more personal. Why the company should hire you, why they would benefit from your employment. Your cover letter should be divided into 4 paragraphs. Your first paragraph, like an introduction, is talking about the job position you're applying for and when you're available. In your second paragraph, you're moving on to how suitable you are for the job and how interested you are. Don't go on about how you need the job. You want to say how you want the job. The third paragraph, you're moving on to all about you, the relevant experience you have, what your skills are, and how the company would benefit from your employment. The last paragraph is like a conclusion where you're stating again what interest you have in the job, but you would also want to add how you would like an interview where you can talk face to face about things and how you're looking forward to their response. Here we've got a list of mistakes to avoid when writing a cover letter. First and foremost, you mustn't use informal language or slang. On the other hand, you don't want to use too formal language either. Write to the person who is listed as the contact. If it's not listed, do some research and find out. Otherwise, you need to use dear sir or madam. Don't repeat everything from your CV or write anything unnecessary. Like your CV, always ask someone to check over your letter before you send it out. Spelling and grammar have a way of sneaking around where you don't register them. Go into more detail about the job you're applying for or the company you've sent your application in. Be careful with the format and font, which you will see in a little while. Here I've decided to take a good copy of a cover letter and turn it into a great one. The first one, on the left, it's too choppy, there are too many paragraphs. Everything has been well written, but it needs to be tweaked a little. She does have her best assets and qualities in the letter with lots of experience highlighted as well. The second one, or in the middle, I've connected it a little bit more where there aren't so many paragraphs in the one part. And in the third one, I've added the potential employer's details, the address, and the date on the left at the top, as you can see. Keep your information on the right side. Also, be sure to print out and personally sign the cover letter before you send it out. It shows you've made the extra effort because it's more personal. In order to ensure success with your cover letter, please pause and click on the first link where you need to read through the article as well as watch the short video describing the cover letter in more detail. Once you've finished, while the video is still paused, click on the second link. Here you will find a small assignment where you will write in the correct number from 1 to 4, which paragraph you would put which phrases or statements. When you click on the link, it's similar to the previous one. You need to write your name in order to access the assignment. Your first name only is fine. Once you've finished, take a picture of or screenshot your results to your teacher. Good luck. I previously mentioned how more formal language is necessary in a cover letter. You don't want to go too formal because first of all, they will know that you didn't write this on your own. And secondly, the human resources employee who is in charge of hiring might not understand what you want to say. Either click on the link or scan the QR code, which takes you to a fun assignment where you need to group the phrases according to formality. One group is informal language, while the other is formal. Again, once you've finished, take a picture of or screenshot your results and send them to your teacher. Good luck! Now it's your turn to show your teacher what you've got, what you're made of. Your task is to write your own personal CV and cover letter with true information. The great part about this is you're one step closer to finding your dream job once you're out of high school or college. The links on the screen have been provided for you as extra assistance while writing. Since most of you have no experience whatsoever with employment, and those of you who do most likely don't have experience in your future desired profession, these tips for writing a CV and cover letter with no experience will be of tremendous help. For the end, ask yourselves these following questions. Was I correct in my assumptions from the beginning of the lesson? If you recall, my question was, what do you know about CVs and cover letters? I also asked you, what would you like to know? which ties into the next question. Did I learn something new today regarding CVs and cover letters? Did you learn what you wrote down you would like to know? Is there anything I'm still not certain about? Don't forget you can always go back to your teacher for the extra help you need to excel. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and good luck. I also hope you all find your dream job with these CVs and cover letters. Take care.